Very good. Yeah. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Design Review Committee meeting to order for Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. We will begin with roll call.
Good morning, everyone. That button, okay. Committee Member Banducci,
Here.
Committee Member Browning,
Here.
Committee Member Cameron, Committee Member Ellsworth,
Here.
and Committee Member Perez. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Item B, approval of the minutes. We have none today, so that takes us right into our public hearings, which are continued from our last meeting. And this application is ACGC Second and E multi-story building master sign permit located at 399 Second Street, also known as 337 Second Street. This project is SGNM 24-1, and the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the application. And staff will run us through the report.
I have a really quick question. On our monitor, it says 339 as opposed to 399.
339 is the correct address.
So which one is it?
It's 339.
Oh, so on our agenda, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will revise the location
Yeah, it's correct on
Two.
the staff report.
Thank you.
Luckily.
339 Second Street, for the
My
record.
eyes did not see
Okay.
that when I reviewed the agenda. Sorry.
Thanks, Gailey. All right.
All right.
Who's presenting this morning?
Assistant Planner Gonzalez.
Okay.
Alex.
Hi,
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, committee members. My name is Alexandra Gonzalez, and today we're going to be presenting on the master sign permit for a newly constructed multi-story mixed-use building with a commercial and residential uses at 339 Second Street.
Just one moment here, Chuck.
Could you speak into the mic, please?
Sure. Sorry, it sounds loud to me over here. All right. 339. All right, so here is a bird's eye view showing the location of the site within city limits. The zooming in, the 0.15 acre property is located in the heart of Old Town on 2nd and E, and it contains a multi-story mixed-use building with 3 tenant spaces on the ground floor and 1 4th-story commercial tenant space, as well as 13 residential units on the 2nd and 3rd floors. The project site is located in the coastal zone within the CW Waterfront Commercial District with a core retail commercial land use designation. Surrounding the property are businesses like Los Bagels Restaurant, Bootlegger, and Siren Songs Tavern Bar, and then the Eureka Boardwalk along Humboldt Bay is located just a block north. The applicant is currently proposing a total of 8 signs as part of their master sign permit, and they're all located on the primary entrance of their respective tenant spaces. 3 signs identified here are located on the 2nd Street ground floor facade, and 4 signs are located on the East Street facing ground floor facade. And then 1 sign is located on the 4th story facing East Street. And because a sign is proposed on the 4th story, and as well as 2 canopy signs exceed the allowed sign area for canopy signs, a master sign permit is required. The applicant has already received an administrative sign permit for 3 ground floor signs on the south-facing facade on 2nd Street, which is what we're going to be seeing here, and 2 of which are canopy signs that are already installed, and 1 projecting sign not yet installed. Now, looking at the east-facing facade facing East Street, the master sign will include the previously mentioned signs and 2 ground floor canopy signs that were installed without the benefit of permits, as well as 2 more new signs, including a projecting blade sign to be installed on the 4th story and a wall sign on the ground floor, both of which are identical in design. Lastly, the master sign permit will include a projecting sign that was previously approved through an administrative sign permit but is not installed and per the applicant won't be installed unless the tenant requests alternative signage.
That's specifically the blade sign, the tulip blade sign?
The blade
C2
sign.
or, okay.
C2.
Thank you.
So moving on to some applicable regulations. EMC section 10-5.1708.2 states that signs above the ground floor are only allowed with the master sign permit. Currently, all signs comply with the sign standards found in EMC section 10-5.1708 sign standards, except 2 of the 4 canopy signs exceed the allowed sign area per canopy sign, but the transfer of maximum sign area between canopy signs is allowed with the master sign permit. Lastly, because 2 of the proposed signs for the rooftop restaurant are externally illuminated, they are required to comply with the illumination standards to ensure lighting does not produce glare or creates a public nuisance or hazard for motorists and pedestrians. So all master sign programs must include a master sign permit must include a master sign program that identifies the placement, size, materials, type, and general design of signs located on the site, including both existing and proposed signs. So as conditioned, the proposed master sign program would satisfy the required findings found in the staff report. And with this master sign program, any proposed modifications to existing signs or new signs must be consistent with the standards in EMC Article 17, not included above, and any proposed sign changes inconsistent with the master sign program will require an amendment to the program to the satisfaction development service planning. Each floor above the ground floor may be treated as its own tenant frontage. Residential zoning district standards will apply to the residential frontages on the 2nd and 3rd floor. The total area of canopy signs combined on site must be smaller than the total canopy fascia area for all entrance canopies. And then the design for any new modified building signs must exhibit a similar character to each other and incorporate some architectural elements found on the building. For example, their color, materials, to the satisfaction of the development service planning. The recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and to approve the project with conditions. Based upon the findings and analysis included within the staff report, staff believes the 8 signs meet the necessary criteria for approval of a master sign permit, and conditions have been added to ensure the applicant is aware that any proposed modifications to existing signs or new signs must be consistent with the standards in the master sign program, as well as any sign standards in our EMC Article 17. Staff has prepared a motion on the next slide, but I will stop screen sharing for some discussion. Staff as well as the applicant is available for questions. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. All right, I'll open it up to the committee to ask questions of staff, if there are any. Yeah, go ahead, Chef.
Through the chair, I want to tell you guys you've done a real good job on putting this all together, and I appreciate all the effort and focus on size and square footage. And the one thing that I do want to point out here that seems to be missing, especially on this rooftop sign, is the purpose of a sign and the first job that a sign has for the business is legibility, and that is to be able to communicate to the people looking at it what is going on in that business. And when I look at the design for the rooftop sign, what I see is the letter D, O, T, and I can't figure out really what the rest says. So I would suggest to the client, or in this case the applicant, that they do some kind of a modification to deal with the legibility issue.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That is definitely one of the considerations that we're bringing to you today, specifically for the blade signs. So
Can I pause you for a moment, please? I just need your name and address for the record.
My address?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know about that. My name's Raylena Crixton. I'm the Community Liaison and Real Estate Development Director for ACGC in Eureka, California.
Thank you. Can you speak up, please? Sorry, you just popped up there and I didn't catch you before you started going.
Oh, I just wanted to clarify any confusion before we went too far down this road of legibility. Apologies.
Okay. Questions
Sorry
for the
for that.
applicant?
So,
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So the legibility of the canopy sign for the rooftop restaurant, as well as I would argue some of the other canopy signs, but especially the rooftop restaurant, will be altered. So at this point in time, it's just a placeholder. This sign will be moved to the interior of the restaurant to be the sign for their entryway. And then we'd like to move to a blade sign for the rooftop as shown in the application. So sorry for butting up here. I
It's
just wanted
okay.
to make
It's
sure
okay. I
we
was
were all on
looking
the same
down and
page.
just didn't see you
Yeah,
walking
it's all
up.
good.
So I usually try and catch it before. No problem at all. Can we just pull the images up on the screen for the reference? I have it up on my screen, but it might be good for everyone to be able to view what we're discussing right now. So the canopy sign is very similar to the one that's surrounded in a wood face, but I think it's the font that has Chuck's concern, right? The R or the cursive, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
agree with that. On its best day, that doesn't read well. And to demonstrate that point is the black on the white. It doesn't get much better than black on white. And it's tough to read.
Is it because the bottom of the R drops into the
right.
the
I
steel?
pick up an R and an OO.
Yeah.
The F,
But it looks like
the F doesn't cut it. I'm coming at it from a designer point of view.
Yeah.
And again, the first job of a sign is to communicate.
yeah. No, it's a valid point because tulip reads very well because it contrasts with the steel, right?
Tulip
Steel
is very
canopy.
legible.
Yeah. Would there be consideration for a different color for the font or a different font that reads better?
When I read this, I read doof top.
Just to clarify, this sign will be removed to the interior of the restaurant space to be
So
in
there'll be
their entryway.
No exterior signage.
So the
proposed for
awning
this
sign
restaurant?
will be completely removed and replaced with a blade sign as well as a wall sign that's in the application. So the blade sign will be the same shape as tulip. The wall sign is this circle and it's number 6 in the application, wall sign 6. So there's the R1 and R2. So one consideration that I'd like to put forward is not necessarily approving the specific sign design for tulip, but rather the same sign shape for rooftop sushi as a blade sign so it's more legible for pedestrians.
Okay, so maybe I'm going to try and, I don't know, restate what I understand is happening. So rooftop will become a C2, like the oval shaped sign, not the shape of the R1, R2 labeled sign up on the screen right now.
I believe that the rooftop, you see the R1, R2, that is supposed to be a blade sign and a wall sign. I think that's what she's saying.
Not in the shape of the tulip sign
no,
as
but it'll-
presented on C2.
Correct. It'll hang like
Hang. Okay.
the tulip sign.
Okay.
Can we get a picture of that?
Let's see.
But okay, so is it this figure 4 on our screen? The circle? The figure 4 on our packet?
That's correct. So
So it's just a circle, not the circle with the rectangle.
it's a rectangle actually. Instead of just the circle, it's just a rectangle.
Okay. So it's just the rectangle that says rooftop.
Correct.
Okay. No image, no logo.
It's just moved to the side
Okay.
rather than hanging down so far. So it would in fact look more like the tulip sign
Okay, let me see if I can share my screen.
I don't believe we got an update of this, correct? We didn't get an update of this in our current packet.
There should be in the attachments. Yes, we did update the staff report.
It's not in this one. Okay.
Let me. How do I can't
So for all
share.
intents and purposes, Blade Sign 5 is
Why can't I share?
what we're talking about.
I think you
What?
added
Where'd the voice come from?
Frick.
Oh.
Okay, can they? Okay, so this is depicting the hanging sign over here on
Okay.
the cursor.
Okay.
So I think that's what she's saying is that canopy sign is going to be removed on the ground floor and put inside, and they're going to install the
one hanging sign.
a hanging
Got
sign.
it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can see that there's a wall sign like just underneath it. That's just like the hanging sign,
Correct.
the blade sign that she's saying.
Okay, and those are reflective of the current ideas and shapes on the
Yes.
far left.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, we have conflicting information in this packet. Okay. Okay.
I think what the confusion is instead of putting the wall sign and the blade sign as two separate in the staff report where you could see these little hanging, maybe that's what's happened. Because I think what she was trying to depict that this same shape was going to be used for the wall sign and the hanging blade sign.
Okay.
Just to clarify, I think the applicant wants to do, instead of the canopy sign on the ground floor, she wants to put a blade sign on the ground floor.
Which was not in our application material. So that is new
Yeah, that is
information
new.
to us. But the point of this program is that, the ground floor, they meet all the standards except for the canopy signs. They were slightly larger. So each tenant is allowed up to 3 different types of signs. And so through the program, they would be allowed to kind of modify their signs as they need to, as long as it stays within the parameters of the normal sign regulations, which they do.
Right.
When we first came, the only reason why they needed a master sign permit was for that 4th story sign. But then as we found new signs like the canopy sign that went up for the rooftop, that was new to us, after we had published the staff report. So then we updated it to include the new signs. And then that's when we found out that the canopy signs, because of that rooftop actually sign, was slightly larger than what's allowed. But under the master sign program, you're allowed to transfer, right, some maximum sign areas between signs. So essentially this program will allow them in the future to switch signs up and do hanging versus wall versus canopy, as long as they stay within the parameters of this program.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Thank you for that. I was just trying to seek clarification on
What's going on?
what the actual changes were and what we're reviewing. I mean, overall, I think that the package is very clean and it looks great, and even the signs that have been installed look very nice on those canopies. So I just want to make sure that we have clarity on what we're reviewing. So thank you all for
Thank you.
responding to our questions. So does the committee have questions about the revisions or the changes, have comments on the application before I open it up to public comment? Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
I have one last point I want to make, and I've already made it, but I'm going to do it again. I think we're lost in the weeds. I love the program. I'm all in on the whole process. But we're lost in the weeds in specifics of sign size and shapes. And my goal for any client that comes before this group is, if they have a sign that would discourage any client, any customer of theirs from coming in because of lack of legibility, or the customer being confused at what was in the building at the time, it's incumbent upon me to point that out. And my concern is that rooftop, the script that is used is illegible, and I think, and it's their sign and it's their choice to do that, and I know that there will be people that will not come to that restaurant when they see that, because they're not quite sure what it is. Because when you look at that sign right now, you see you see a script that sort of says rooftop. You see a lovely logo with cherry blossoms and a Japanese symbol. That is gorgeous. But the script that says rooftop is tough to read, and the definition of what is in there, Japanese restaurant and bar, that you can't read it. From here, you cannot read that. And so that alone is enough to make, red lights go off in my design sense. I'm done. Thank you.
I totally agree with you, Chuck, and I also think the script of rooftop is not commensurate with the gorgeous design above.
Do you want to? You're more than welcome to come back up and join the discussion with us.
I couldn't agree more, Chuck. Unfortunately, I did not have oversight on the client's branding for this. However, I do think we could make the rooftop or the bar and restaurant aspect of the sign more prominent for everyone to be able to legibly know what's going on.
Yeah, I think Chuck does bring up a good point because it's only 3 by 3, so that font is going to be super tiny at the bottom. So
It
yeah,
might be an inch. if
yeah,
not.
right. Yeah, it would probably be most beneficial for the business to.
At
To-
best, that is a 1-inch letter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. With that, I think it'd be worth putting in a condition that, the legibility of that sign be improved. I don't know if it's deserving to come back in front of us or how the committee would feel, but I'm going too far before I open it up to public comment.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to make a condition or just a suggestion that we can add to the resolution,
Okay. So a suggestion to add to the resolution or
so that it's there
or a
in the
condition.
record, but it's non-binding. But if you want it binding, you would have to add it as a condition.
Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
Through the chair, whether it's in the record or not is kind of irrelevant. We've said what I think we need to say. It's been noted by the client, and if they choose to do whatever they do, it's their business. So I would just say leave it be.
Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions for staff or for the applicant? All right. At this point in time, we'll open it up to a public hearing. If there's anyone on the call who wish to speak, you may do so now by raising your hand. I don't see anyone else in the audience. So if there's no one on the call, then I'll close the public comment period. Bring it back to the committee for any further discussion or a motion. And if we could pull that motion up onto the screen, that would be most helpful. Okay. Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
Through the chair, I move the Design Review Committee adopt a resolution finding the project as exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the master sign permit at 339 2nd Street, APN 001-052-004.
Thank you, Chuck. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and our committee will now vote.
Committee Member Browning? Committee Member Ellsworth?
Yes.
Chairwoman Banducci?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for the clarifications. We appreciate it. Yeah. No worries. That's what's the benefit of being here, to have a discussion with us. Thank you. All right. Item D, public hearings. There are none. No old business. So that takes us to item F, new business, appointing a subcommittee for Herrick Avenue Gateway sign design recommendations. The recommendation here is the design review committee to appoint, the committee chair to appoint a two-member subcommittee to provide recommendations for the design of the Herrick Avenue welcome sign. Are we going to go through the memo or no? Okay.
Nope, I can just provide clarification.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, great. So the City of Eureka Economic Development Department is partnered up with Caltrans to add like a monument sign to the Herrick Avenue Gore area right when you're coming into town to complement the new mural. So we thought it might be good to get some recommendations from the Design Review Committee. There are some very preliminary plans that were in your packet, for the monument sign, but they're looking for some recommendations on how to make the sign look nice. And I'm not sure, maybe the representative from Caltrans is here. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if our economic development manager was able to make it. Oh, it looks like Swan is here. Ms. Asbury, if she wants to speak. And also just to let you know, the chair would appoint 2 members of the subcommittee. We would request that you just come back at a later time. We'll let you know when we need the recommendations by. And you can always appoint yourself if you're really interested in doing it. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then also Caroline was interested in serving as well. She let us know via email.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad she let you know that since she wasn't going to be here today. Okay. So we don't need to make the determination of the committee.
No, you make the determination. Yeah, you appoint the committee now, and then
Okay.
we'll request the recommendations from you later.
Okay. Does anyone have interest in serving on the subcommittee? Yes? You can go speak. You can speak.
Yeah, I volunteer.
Okay. Sounds like we have Chuck and Caroline who are interested in being the two-member subcommittee. Okay, so I
Just appoint them.
just formally appoint them?
Yep.
Okay. I will formally appoint Chuck and Caroline to be on the subcommittee for the Herrick Avenue Gateway sign
Okay, great.
design recommendations.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll make sure to contact you via email or phone call.
I want to point out, I for some reason, none of this is loading on my system here. I can't see it.
Can we get printouts for Chuck of that package?
Yeah, I
Would that
have.
be
The
helpful?
gateway signage
Yeah.
and the gateway sign plans, when I load that, it comes up with some interesting pictures of, plant life and
Yeah, I think
landscaping.
the cover page is showing up on
Yeah,
these.
see, I don't get that. I don't have any of that here.
There you
It's
go. Thank
coming up
you.
blank. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's just white pages on extra
Good location.
things. Yeah. Yeah, when I think it's either loading or not loading completely. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Chuck and Caroline, for volunteering to be on the subcommittee. Look forward to hearing progress on that note. Okay. Item G, pre-application review. There is none. And that takes us to item H, director's reports and communications. Bye. Thank you.
I just want to give you a heads up. We will have some agenda items for the next meeting. I believe the Housing Authority project, their green phase, whatever phase it was that you guys saw, the pre-application should be coming to our next meeting.
Okay.
And then I think in the second meeting in May, we're going to have a pre-application review for a cell tower, for a new cell tower.
New one.
Yes.
Okay.
Over the current cell site over by the water tower. It's not the water tower site, but there's like a church next to it that has a few
The
poles already.
J Street.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so they, it might be a little shocking, I'm sure, when we see it, because they just kind of want to get initial feedback and how to screen maybe one giant pole instead of like multiple poles, but we'll see what happens. It would just be the very, very first step in a lot of steps they would have to do for a new wireless tower. Like they'd come here for a pre-app, then they have to hold their own community meeting, and then they would have to come back here. And there's lots of community meetings that will have to happen. But I think they just wanted to get initial feedback from you guys first.
Okay.
And then I think in May as well, we'll have another like a 5-plex apartment complex coming. So we have some stuff coming. in
That's
the pipeline.
exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay. Item I, other reports and communications. Okay, none. Item J, oral communications. This section of the meeting provides committee members and the public an opportunity to address the design review committee on any subject not appearing on the agenda. Anything from the committee or anyone on the call, since we don't have an audience? Okay, just staff on the call. Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will adjourn our meeting and we'll be back here in a couple weeks. Thank you all.
Thank you.